All right, all rise. Okay. We are here in the case of Young versus the state of California. Judge Astral presiding. You may all be seated. Okay, we have DA Parrish. Are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and we have Attorney Corey. Are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. DA, could you please present the charges that are being placed on the defendant?
I'm sorry about that. What was asked for?
I was saying, could you please confirm the charges that are being placed on the defendant?
Okay. At this time, the charges is weapons possession, narcotics, trafficking, fleeing and evading, arrest, reckless invading. So she was served 415 months, and she did half of that.
All right. Thank you for that. All right. So we're going to start with your opening statement. We'll start with DA.
People of the court, we are here today to gather a case against Zariyah Young. She was found in Mirror Park, fleeing and evading from a shots fired. The report as follows. On November 27th, 2025, approximately 1 a.m., an officer responded to a call of shots fired near Mirror Park, and upon arrival, observed a female later identified as Zariyah Young running towards a vehicle while brandishing a firearm, and uh, Young immediately fled from officers, leading them into a vehicle pursuit. And the chase continued to the Great Ocean Highway, where Young eventually crashed her car. She attempted to flee, but officers deployed the taser and detained her and cuffed her. Give me one sec. Let me make sure that this was the one for this case. Give me a sec.
All right.
She was caught in Mirror Park a couple times. Sorry. Okay, yeah. That was the report. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, okay. Yes. Today we're gonna prove that Zariyah Young not only was she on the scene, but prove to you with all the evidence that we have gathered that she is the one who has fired the gun. There is video evidence of ballistics being picked up and also of her fleeing. We will also be showing you her character on the way she is. Many of times she has gotten into trouble, and she's been kind of difficult with police since this accident. Today we are going to show you her character. We're going to show you evidence from um, this case. We're going to show you, um, give you witnesses and testimonies on their experience with Zariyah. And I feel as though when she plays adult games, she should be getting adult consequences. Furthermore, we will also have to prove to the court that the police department did cover their bases and lawfully gave her her rights. Since she is a minor, um, we will have to go through, consent of her mother and her parents and what her upbringing is. So today we will be going through that to show you guys and paint a little picture of everything that happened leading up to this court date and the reason why she should serve the rest of her time. Um, while I do believe that the young still have a chance to redeem themselves, I also believe that the young should be punished for their mistakes. During this time, we're not here to shame anyone, just mostly accountability is what we're aiming for. Um, this has been a long process, a long journey. Um, evidence has been collected as far as guns, as far as blood, shell casings, and today will be shown that she needs to serve the rest of her time internally. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, DA. Attorney Clary, your opening statement.
So, Your Honor, today the state brings forward a case built on assumptions, not concrete evidence. We are here because shots were fired in a public area and bullet casings were found on the ground, but not because anyone actually witnessed my client, who was a minor, discharge a firearm. There was no officer, no citizen, no camera footage that places a weapon in my client's hand, nor any evidence of my client reckless evading or fleeing. What the state is asking this court to do is make a leap to take the presence of casings at a scene and automatically attach the guilt to the nearest person present. But presence is not guilt. Being in the vicinity of a crime does not make someone the perpetrator, especially not a minor who was not running and not behaving in a manner consistent with someone who had just fired a gun. The evidence will show that the police arrived after the shots were already fired, that multiple unknown individuals could have fled the scene before officers arrived, and that my client was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. The state bears a burden of proof and they cannot meet it with speculation. At the conclusion of this case, we are confident the court will find that there is no credible evidence to support the charge of discharging a firearm or evidence to support my client recklessly evading, and that my client should not be convicted based on assumptions. Thank you.
Thank you for that. All right. So, DA, you have the floor.
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to call up Officer Kane to the stand, please.
All right, Officer Kane, if you could come forward.
I'm sorry, wait, where do you want me to stand? I apologize. Or
You
sit?
can sit, you can stand, you can do Whatever you need to do.
If you can raise your right hand for me, Officer 2.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth will help you?
I affirm.
Okay. You may proceed, DA.
Can you please state your name and occupation for the court?
Yes, my name is Sergeant Kane. I'm a sergeant with LSPD.
And 1 second. Were you indeed on the scene when the shots was fired?
I was immediately adjacent. There was a scene that happened at the restaurant on Mirror Park, and then we immediately had another shots fired, like a street over, in the Mirror Park area.
Your Honor, if you observe.
Just to clarify, our initial call was about a woman shooting, and then we immediately had another woman shooting in the same vicinity.
Okay, so you got a call that a woman was shooting, and then you got another call that a woman was shooting. So does that mean they shot twice?
That's our belief. Yes, it was probably likely the same woman.
Okay, so Your Honor, if you can place your eyes on the submission I had pulled forward, there is a video evidence of her body cam and when she got the shots fired, up until Mrs. Young was found, and when she was told to come with her, she ran into the house, fleeing, evading, on camera inside of the house. Let me know when I can continue.
All right, I'm taking a look right now.
Now,
You may continue.
I can continue. Okay. So Sergeant Kane, can you take me to that day of when that happened? I just want to get a refreshment on everything uh leading up to it.
So like I said, I responded to Mirror Park for shots fired at the restaurant there. I do apologize. I don't know the name. And while I was interviewing, trying to figure out what happened, as I was finishing my interviewing, we got another call about shots fired. Like I said, the street over, like immediately from the restaurant. So immediately responded on foot. That's how close we were to this new shots fired. Upon reaching the area of shot fired, I noticed a white Jeep outside, but immediately tried to look to see if the assailant, which was reported to be a female, was still in the area. Quickly after doing that, I did it. We didn't locate anyone, but I immediately stayed, like I said, on scene. Went back to the Jeep at the initial call and collected evidence. As I was collecting evidence, I searched the Jeep, found out that it was owned by Zariyah. I then found, like I said, casings and blood in the same area immediately in front of the Jeep. As I was still collecting evidence, walking over to get another blood sample, I saw Miss Zariyah outside her door. Initially made contact, tried to talk with her. I think she said 1 second or something. She went in the house, came back out, said again, "Hey, just trying to talk to you." She went in the house, and that's why we ended up having to lock down the house. I called for more backup, and then from there, that's when we did the GSR testing and all that. She was detained, arrested, and then brought back to PD, where I then analyzed the evidence, where it also the blood and the casing also came back to Mr. Rice's fingerprints on the casing, along with her being GSR positive.
Okay, and how many times have you gave her a lawful order?
I'm sorry. Can you rephrase that?
How many times did you give Miss Zariyah Young a lawful order?
I would say probably once or twice through our interactions. But like I said, she ended up kind of like immediately like saying she was going to talk to me, then went in the house. So I believe in that it would have been once or twice.
Okay. And when the house was eventually breached, was she in there?
Yes, she was.
And how many people were inside of the house?
It was her, another female, and another male.
Were they complying? Did they, were they hostile? How was it?
I believe they complied. I believe she was a little belligerent and non-compliant.
Okay, so the other people were fine, but she was the one that was giving a hard time.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, at this time, do you believe that well, did you guys find any gun evidence?
Yes, I found shell casings and also found blood. Like I said, the shell casings did come back to being having been fired from Miss Young. Like her fingerprints were on the casings. That meant she loaded the firearm and had been in possession of it. And I do believe we ended up retrieving the firearm. We were able to match the casings to the firearm as well. That was in possession of Miss Young. Miss Young.
Now, were you the one who took her to the station?
I do not believe so. I think that was held by another officer. Our detectives unit actually ended up stepping in on scene and handling her overall processing and her arrest. I stayed for the initial processing, but I was not the primary one processing her.
Okay, so other than that day, have you since then um had any run-ins with her?
I believe she came to the station the next day and apologized to me for her behavior. I think she mentioned like calling me a bitch or something. I apologized for cussing. About
Mm-hmm.
calling me a bitch in the station. But I think that was the very next day or shortly thereafter she apologized for her behavior. I think her mom made her apologize for her behavior. So.
Okay.
And again, I've had some run-ins. I do apologize. I try not to keep that stuff to the heart, or like I said, we all have bad days and things like that. So I'd never try to want to single someone out. So I'd usually try my best not to like overly remember one person, since we do just interact with so many people.
Right. 1 second. Now, were you the one that tested the evidence?
Yes, I tested the blood indications.
I want the court to acknowledge that the evidence only went through one person. It wasn't tampered with or it wasn't passed on. So everything that was collected was truly sampled at that time.
Um, and I do apologize, but that body cam has also been posted as well.
Can you guys hear me? I do have a question. Did she seem hurt?
No, she was walking fine to me. Even when we initially made contact, she was like hiding on the side of the house. And I guess in a way to like not be seen, but she seemed to be walking and moving fine for me. Like I said, she walked into the house, then walked back out of the house, then walked into it. Even while seeing her inside, it never seemed like she needed any type of attention. Typically, if we see someone that needs attention or they let it be known they needed like medical attention, we always try to get it to them. But just to simply answer your question, no, to my knowledge and from what I was able to remember and see in my body cam, no, she looked perfectly fine to me.
Okay, so you wouldn't think that it would be self-defense because she doesn't have any wounds, and she did not ask for medical attention.
No, I don't. I wouldn't believe it would be self-defense. Usually, most people when they have to shoot, they do let us kind of know hand. They kind of give us that information. They let us know. She never once, like I said, while I was there, heard her ever say it was self-defense. And like I said, from even reviewing it, the only casings we found solely belonged to her. They didn't belong to another individual.
Okay. No further questions.
All right. Attorney Kyrie, do you have any questions you would cross-examine?
Yes, ma'am.
Who did that?
All right.
Okay, go.
Your Honor, sorry. All right. Just a couple questions for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what is the process for the police department or for yourself during a 1013 shots fired scene?
We search the scene, see if we find anyone in the immediate vicinity that may have been a part of the shooting. And then once we secure it in that manner, we then go look and collect evidence. And then from there, like I said, we see if anyone's still kind of lingering. That may be, like I said, looking for blood, looking for casings, also reviewing any vehicle that's close in proximity to that scene.
Okay, and is one of your processes to see a shots fired, see the person discharge a firearm?
That can be a part of the process, but it's not like the sole process. Oftentimes people don't shoot in front of PD, so we're rarely going to like see them shooting.
Okay, and can you describe your forensics process?
The first process details like on the scene, make sure I have on my gloves, make sure I pick up each evidence by placing it in an individual plastic bag, then going over to our lab to where each individual item is also then analyzed.
Okay, and in your body cam, do you think that your gloves have been cross-contaminated? Being that you didn't change your gloves, didn't put on new ones.
I hadn't collected any evidence on the prior thing, so no, I don't believe they were contaminated. Also, like I said, in terms of picking up the plastic bag, like, I don't know, like, how to describe it, like, but, you put a bag inside out, and then you pick up an item, so it wouldn't have caused contamination, because I would have never physically touched the bullet with my glove. It would have only touched the bag.
Okay. Were you aware of any other suspects in the area?
At that time, we weren't aware. I guess I'd say at the time we didn't find any suspects initially. However, as I mentioned, as I was collecting evidence, I happened to see someone who was actually right there in front of the evidence. So then I initially tried to make contact with them, and that was after, like I said, realized the vehicle was registered possibly to this person.
Okay. And is it possible someone else could have fired the shots before my client came out the house?
I don't believe so, because like I said, the bullets had her fingerprints on them. That means she would have had to load the firearm that had it. So I just think like if someone else having it, but I mean maybe she gave someone her gun, but then that would be kind of its own situation in itself. So based on what we have, the bullets came back to her, the firearm came back to her. So I would best, and she was, like I said, she was GSR positive, so she was in close proximity to someone shooting, or she's the one that shot. So with all that evidence together, it seems it would have to be her that had fired.
So how sure are you of, the GSR not being bounced around from person to person?
So I wasn't the person that initially GSR'd her. I was in like close proximity to that, but I can't say what could have happened or happened. I will say, like, typically your DSR is going to be close to the person that you're immediately in front of and having your hand. So I would, I would be, 99% sure that that's who was DSR.
Okay, and then you stated that my client looks perfectly fine to you during that scene. Can you describe how perfectly fine means?
She was walking, like she was walking normally, and I just mean like someone that casually was walking. She was able to perfectly interact with me. Just from my police experience, usually when someone's injured, we can either see that they're injured, or also if maybe there's a confusion about that, they usually let us know that they're in need of medical attention, and we immediately get them medical attention.
And how is her behavior during the incident?
Um, to my knowledge, she was, like I said, was very belligerent. I believe she was constantly cussing us out. I think, like I said, from our interactions, she was, like I said, referring to me a bitch and calling the other officer names. Even throughout my other interactions with her, she's always the same. Very loud, very rude, very disrespectful.
Was there a time during that incident where you guys had her in custody where she would have spurts of calmness or a lower tone?
I didn't stay for her full interrogation. I know the moments I was there with her, no, I never saw her like calm or, and yeah, so.
Okay. And how is the police department, how do I say this? Are you guys aware of mental health factors?
Yes.
You guys trained on mental health?
Yes.
Can you describe what mental health looks like in her case?
I'm not a psychologist, so I think that would be outside my scope.
That was all my questions.
Okay. You may step down, officer.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. DA Parrish, do you have another witness? Or anything you would like to present?
Can you go open the door up front?
Y'all got no guns, do you?
Uh-uh.
Okay, yeah, don't air the bitch out. Okay, appreciate y'all.
Not this one.
All right, Miss Kinsley, if you could, Miss Young, if you could raise your right hand for me, please. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth will help you? Okay, you may be seated.
You got it. There you go. Um, Hi, Miss Kinsley. How you doing? I'm sorry that we have to meet on this circumstances, but nice to meet.
Nice to meet you as well.
Can you state your name and your relation to the defendant?
Yes, my name is Kinsley Dior Young, and Zariyah Young is my daughter. I am her mother.
So I brought you up here to for everybody to give shed some light on how she is. You know, we
Mm-hmm.
only know the bad side because we have to do those bad things of, arresting people. And I just wanted to, build some character on Zariyah because I feel like she is not a bad person. She's just been dealt kind of, you know, things
Mm-hmm.
happen. So
Right.
can you tell me how she was, growing up? Give
Yeah.
us a little insight.
Well, Zariyah was always very social. She was, one of those ones that always, uh, was kind to other people, would, interact with other children. She wasn't, uh, she wasn't a shy child at all by any means. She always had a friend. Um, she was, uh, and even still now to this day she loves to hang out with her friends and do different activities and things like that. Like my mom always said, she never let grass grow under her feet. She's always moving, she's always on the go. She's always eager to just have a good time, enjoy life. She is young, so um that's to be expected. But she's always very curious, always very active, and always very social from as a young child even to now.
Have you had any, issues with her growing up? And it doesn't have to be like she's lashing out, but like, getting into trouble. Was that a usual for her?
I mean, as a child, she, would, maybe argue with her siblings and things of that nature, but she never was a violent child. She was honestly, she's very generous, very caring. She looks out for her siblings. She loves to spend time with her brothers and her sisters. She makes sure that everyone is taken care of. She even volunteers at the hospital to make sure that people within the community are well taken care of as well. That's something that she does. She doesn't necessarily have to do that, but she chose to do that. So yeah, she's never been like a violent child at all. If anything, I think the thought of violence or just being surrounded by violence makes her uncomfortable.
Up until this point, have you ever heard of her having guns? Like, were you aware that she had guns?
Guns? No, we've never had guns in our house growing up. That was never a thing. We don't like violence at all in that manner. She does have older brothers and they do take her paintballing, things like that. That's the only type of, I guess, air quotes gun that I think she's ever held. She's not really a gun person. Um but yeah, that's never been a thing that we've had in our house.
Does Raya have friends?
Of course.
Did she has friends,
Yeah.
and she's always like often out with those friends and stuff like.
You mean like hanging out, like spending time with her friends?
Mm-hmm.
Like socializing? Yeah, she hangs out with her friends. Just like any 17-year-old would.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I meant to ask you this. What do you do for a living?
You want me as a
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Objection. Where's the relevance?
I swear there's relevance, but it's up to you.
Um, sustain. You can if you can get to what the relevance of that is.
Awesome. Okay. So what is it that you do?
Yeah, so I was a crafter and designer at Cap City up until I was fired due to someone pressing charges against our family, which I haven't really heard much about from recently. Prior to that, though, I was a medical professional before I moved from Atlanta. I was also a physical therapist and I own my own boutique. So I've been kind of settling in, LA and getting, my footing here. So I was, in the process of doing that, but while I also, working at City, which I no longer work at, which I've, been released of my duties.
Okay. Um, those kind of jobs are very time consuming, right? Am I correct?
Sure, any job can be.
And how many kids do you have?
I have 5.
So, will you agree that, with your career and, you having that many children and stuff like that, it's kind of hard sometimes to um, be attentive to all 5 children at all times?
No, I don't think so at all. So for me, like I've always said, and like actually just mentioned to one of your witnesses over there, the sergeant, it takes a village. And luckily, I'm blessed to have a village of people that are here to support me. And as a single mother, I have an older brother, I have a sister, I also have friends and other family members that are very loving and caring and that surround me and take care of all of us, including myself, even at times. So I don't find that we ever lack in that department. We are truly blessed.
Sir, I gotta pat you
You
down.
need to check me?
Yeah.
Alright, my bad.
No, you good. Oh, you good. Follow me this way. Of course, this way. Is she? I think I saw somebody outside. Is she with you or?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. I'm just saying that with you with, you know, your family because you do have to make a living because you are a single mother and have to
Of
take care
course.
of your children.
Yeah, of
Objection,
course.
speculation.
How's that speculating?
Honor?
Oh,
Your Honor, ma'am.
you're
Can you hear?
I don't think so. Hold on.
Wait.
Excuse me, Your Honor. Your Honor, are you there? Your Honor, did she fall into a coma?
She probably daydreaming.
Oh my goodness, is she
I,
okay?
I think she just need a
What is
cough
she
drop.
dreaming about?
I
Oh,
think
we need to call a medical professional. Is she all right?
I think she just need a cough drop.
Hey, one more time. I'm so
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, great.
dang.
Oh, recess?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
I
the